in progress. Okay. Hmm. Hmm. Well, here we are again, my friends. And so we will return to this state of togetherness, where that spirit form working incarnate and discarnate come together to allow that voice of spirit, the silent voice, a voice that you give meaning to once more speak with you. You know, as we do this process of connecting, it occurs to us that how very fragile that connection can be when the emotion and the mind of the medium becomes that dominant force. It is like we are walking a tightrope, trying to find that middle line, to have balance, so that we do not fall. And we could use this analogy of finding balance when we approach the means of communicating with you. For some people, we need to be this dominant force to really assert our presence within your mind and your heart. For others, we need to be more gentle, like we are placing an arm around your shoulder and reassuring you of our presence and our intention, which should always be love. I wonder how many people really consider that four-letter word and its true meaning when wishing to communicate with spirit, with someone's loved one, with a guide, an inspirer. Call them what you will, but the real force that remains between you is love. Having a heart that is receptive to it and being willing to demand it from us. That is your responsibility. We are not your master. We merely guide you. And a guide is someone that is willing to show you the way, should you choose to call for their help or assistance. Sometimes the medium sits within their comfort zone and they wait with open arms for the spirit communicator to neatly package a little parcel of information or wisdom and drop it into their lap. Now we know that the boy is guilty of this method of learning, and it should come as no surprise that great progress was not made by waiting for a present to fall from the sky. Just as you would speak to one another to express your wishes, to communicate instructions to each other. And so it is also this way with us, as it should be. To know you is to speak with you. Friendship, which is what this is grown from a position of understanding and wanting to understand one another. But there is also an aspect of love that binds you, a sense of knowing that you have met someone, you have connected to something that makes you greater spiritually than you are on your own, that they will uplift you, that they may motivate you, that they will not judge you in those moments when you think that you have failed. Just as a parent should not judge a child for failing, nor should a guide judge their medium for doing the same. Fear of failure can feel like an anchor weighing you down. Failure should be something that you relish, not because it is good to fail, but because that within that failure is the opportunity to learn, to change, to become something greater than you were. by deciding that to turn right instead of left, it brings you onto your correct path. So if you find that failure has become a friend to you, then do not fear it. Ask yourself the question, how may I learn and grow from this experience? And if someone is too willing to remind you of your failures, then I would question whether they were a positive influence upon you. Look for those who raise you up, not for those who are ready to knock you down. You do not need people like that in your life. You need the people that open a door for you and step to one side and encourage you to walk through it. Not those that jealously guard the door to this spiritual freedom and will not let you pass, seeing themselves as an arbiter of spiritual enlightenment. So be careful of the friends that you choose. Make sure that they do bring a sense of joy into your life. I think we could all do with joy, couldn't we? Now, my dear friend June, once more we find ourselves coming together to ask you the question, and that is, does anyone else have a question? So maybe you could put this to our friends here this evening.
Yes, I will. Thank you. If anyone has a question,
Mm.
can you either raise your hand or your little emoji hand, please, which you'll find at the bottom of your
Mm.
screen towards the right.
Mm.
Oh, Lydia, would you like to ask your question?
Uh, Hello. I would like to know whether if your thoughts and uh, praying or does effectively help because to make a better world. I mean, if you wake up in the morning and you send out love or a positive thought, do you think it has an impact directly because of the frequency that we
Yeah.
try to send or not?
My friend, it is quite a certainty that your thoughts do have an effect, and no one should ever let you say or let it be said that one prayer cannot make a difference. As a way of expressing its efficiency, we could say that, let us say that there are people at the opposing sides of a lake, and they are casting stones, and the ripples are moving towards you. Will that ripple have an effect upon you on your shore? And the answer is yes, in a small way. But let us say that they threw a mountainside into their side of the lake. Do you think it would have a greater or lesser effect upon you
Yeah, greater.
So it comes down to how much power is behind the healing thought, the prayer that you send. All prayers have a power, my friend. But the more people that pray with a point of view that is similar, then of course it will have a greater effect upon those who are it is sent to heal, or who the prayers are sent to. Do you understand where we are going?
Yes,
Would you like me to elaborate further?
if you want to.
Well, now there's the thing. My friend, it is one thing to say words, and it is another thing to say them with true and unconditional love. You know how you feel about your children.
Yes.
Now, if you were to say a prayer to the Great Spirit on behalf of your children, begging them for some outcome that you wish that they may receive, I would bet that the power behind that prayer would be something really quite phenomenal. Do you agree?
Yes, I
Now, if you
understand.
said a prayer that you hope warring nations can find a way of coming to a conclusion, do you think that the same loving energy would be quite so efficient in that prayer?
If a lot of people would do the same, yes.
But if it was just you,
I think you create a little ripple effect.
the
By
point is, my friend, the amount of love that you put into the
yeah,
prayer will directly affect its efficiency. So when you are praying, whether you pray out loud, whether you pray to someone, or you just place someone within your mind, when you place them into a place of love, which is what you are doing, you are sending that positive force out into that cosmic consciousness. And it is going to the person that needs to feel it. What you do with the greatest amount of love will have the greatest amount of effect. I hope that answers the question for you.
yes, thank you very much.
Hmm.
Thank
Good
you, Codling.
question.
The next person, be Tanya. Thank you. I'd like to ask you a question.
Thank you.
Hmm.
I would like to ask if the voice of the trance medium, the voice of the guide coming through, is operating to heal the receiver. Does the voice heal the person listening?
So you are saying that does the vibration, the frequency of the sound waves themselves, do they have a healing effect upon those that hear them?
Yes.
Well, my friend, do you find comfort in listening to what we are saying to you this evening?
Yes.
In some way, would you find it healing?
Yes.
Then that is one of your answers. The content of the conversation in itself can become healing if it brings clarity where there is doubt. And that is only one perspective. But we could say that as we are all beings of a frequency, and sometimes there is disease or disharmony within your physical body, then could we use the voice to bring about healing? And the answer unequivocally, my friend, is yes. Now, when we listen to music and we find that it uplifts us, the music, the words do not even have to be understood, but they will be felt. So if they are being felt, but you do not know what the person is saying, if they seek or to sing or speak in a different language, then we could say, how is there a healing effect if I do not understand what is being said? And the simple answer, my friend, is that the love that is put behind those words, that the frequency of those tones will have an effect upon you. And we could say that because we operate at different frequencies, some people may love a piece of music that brings you great anger because you do not resonate with the sound, the tone, or maybe even the content of the conversation, for want of a better descriptor. So do you understand that it works in two different ways? The actual sound wave themselves, but also the content of what is coming across to you as you perceive it. So you could say, let us say that you are in a room and you have someone that wants to be the recipient of sound healing. So if you move into that aura, that energy field of those that you are working with, you could perform tonal healing with your voice by operating at different frequencies. So we could say that we have 432 hertz, or we have 488 hertz, or we have whatever frequency that feels right to you as you link with the energy system of your patient. But let us also think how we would use toning forks, or singing bowls, or the power of a drum. All of them have a sound, they have a vibration, and if you were to use a screen and you look on a monitor at the frequency of the sound, they all operate and will all bring healing to some part of the energy system. It is really quite a beautiful thing to perceive the effect of music, but also the voice. After all, it is an instrument.
Mm.
Does this sit well with you, my friend?
Yes, thank you so much.
And a beautiful question. Hmm.
Thank you, Tanya. Teresa, would you like to ask your question, please?
Yeah, you've been speaking about choosing friends carefully because of negativity.
Hmm.
You can't choose your family, so there's how do people deal with negativity when it's in the family?
Well, my friend, unless someone has a piece of rope around your waist and they are dragging you to the point of your disease because they are a disease, then you're not forced to see them. Sometimes we have to make painful decisions where we say that a person, that their mindset, their emotion, their energy, the very fabric of their being does not resonate with our goodness and our health and our well-being. Because you are born of blood to someone, it does not mean that you are there at their behest, so that you should take whatever punishment that they seek to uh, eke out on you. Sometimes we have to make painful decisions, my friend, where we say, for the good of my health, I need to remove myself from the cause of disease. So if you were a smoker and you said, I have this persistent nagging cough, and your physician said to you, well, my friend, I'm afraid that you must cease smoking. it would not seem strange to say to you that this was the correct course of action, and I'm sure with a little persuasion that you could find your way to cease the smoking. However, what makes a family bond issue different is the sense of responsibility that we may feel towards them, that in some way we are being unkind or selfish. But let us truly think about it. I think when it comes down to it, you are making an act of love, both for them and yourself. If you do not interact with them, then how can they affect you? And if you do not interact with them, then how can they affect you? So if we remove two fighting tigers, we place them in separate cages, then the pain is removed. We are not saying that it is easy to just walk away from someone who brings you pain, but sometimes it is the best course of action. The other alternative is that we must seek to find out why the issue is there in the first place and see if there is a commonality, see if there is a ground by which you could both reach a compromise, a way of understanding what brings their behavior into being in the first place. And we could also bring into the conversation that emotion is a very powerful influence. And sometimes when we are thinking about the situation from a place of emotive power, then it will not bring a grounded, a dispassionate, and a clear answer about the course of action. So sometimes space is what is needed to really understand how you must approach the situation, not only for them, but also for your benefit. After all, my friend, this ease starts with thoughts, and it finds its germinating bed within your mind, which transfers into your body. So you could physically be making yourself sick by taking on emotional baggage that does not serve you well. My friend, I'm sorry if what I say may not be what you would wish to hear. But as ever, my friend, we must always be honest with you, and I hope in some way that I can assist you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Teresa. Pauline, you have a question. Would you like to ask your question, please?
Good evening. I was wondering, why do some people are born with damaged cells in their body?
Right. Well, my friend, let us think about what a human is. You have the DNA structure, which is also at the mercy of this environment that you live in. Now, we could go forward in time and say that at the moment of birth, really, this physical being is already 9 months old. But if we go prior to their birth and prior to even the inception, that the health and vitality of the parents will also have a direct effect upon the health and vitality of the offspring. So as you go into life, we could say that why is a child born with an infirmity or a propensity to have a disease at an age that seems unnatural to the natural order of things? But let us understand that mankind is merely a connection of organisms, of energy, of cells, and at this very most basic fundamental level, from the moment of your inception, there is the bringing into the world of disease, that cells will die and be reborn. But if more cells that can cause a particular infirmity start to manifest within the body, just as with an aged person, someone can be born into this world, and their journey will not be a long one. It is just a fact, my friend, of the exchange of energy and how it interacts with the world around it. But it is never a personal decision to say that someone deserves disease or one person deserves to live longer than another. But just as you look up to the sky and you may admire the beauty of a cloud, that cloud is transient. For that 1 second, or even a split second that you see it and admire its beauty, already by the time that that thought has gone through your mind, it is no longer what it once was. It has changed. And so does everything that exists upon the earth. The universe, my friend, is in a constant state of change. The very sun that you look at is throwing away its energy, giving it away to the universe in a constant exchange of heat and light. So from the moment of its birth, it has been dying ever since. And one day it will cease to be. Do I answer your question, my friend?
Yes, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Pauline. Has anyone else got any questions, please?
I still have another one.
Hmm.
You still
Please
have
go
one?
ahead, my friend.
Well, go ahead then. Yeah.
Well, at the moment, there's a lot of talk about disposal of the nuclear waste. And I was wondering, is there ever a possibility that it could be stored in space without affecting anything?
Well, of course, the possibility would be there, my friend. But I would say probably the greater issue is who is willing to dig it up and give it a home in space. There are many tens of thousands of tons of nuclear waste material because it is seen in some quarters as being clean energy. But when we consider what really is clean energy, is it that by having this uranium waste that we find a hole underground, and if we make the hole deep enough, and if we fill the hole with enough concrete, and if we cross our fingers, maybe everything will be okay. But we should look for cleaner, more environmentally responsible ways of generating power. You have tides twice a day. You have vast oceans. It is free power. And yet what we seek to do is to find all of this space on the land and to put these magical electric mirrors on the land and cover all what is beautiful for the sake of generating electricity. But what we can also do is we use those windmills and we generate electricity from this. The atmosphere is in a constant state of movement. The wind will never stop blowing. The tides will never stop rising. And as the world gets hotter, and the water level rises, we could make an argument that apart from the great danger that coastal communities are in, that there is justification for using the power of the tides and the oceans to generate clean electricity. But if we return to your main question, could we find a place in space? The answer is yes. But I would say that I do not feel that there is the appetite for anyone to go to the great expense to put into space what has already been buried. Do you understand, my friend?
Yes, I do. Yes. Thank you.
It is fair to say it is not a positive situation to be generating nuclear waste.
No.
But the world that you have, it seems to be hell-bent in some ways of finding new ways of polluting itself. And then they go to the water supply and wonder why it is dirty.
Hmm.
Well, there we go. A decision for the politicians, I fear.
Yeah.
Mm,
Thank you.
Thank
thank
you,
you.
Pauline. Diane, you had a question. Would you please ask your question?
you. I have a question about healing modalities. We seem to have hundreds of them: trance healing, spiritual healing, Reiki, and many others. And other people would talk about their healing prayers. From the spirit side, are any of these any more beneficial or powerful, or is it down to the intention and connection of the sender?
There we go. Right at the end, my friend, you hit the nail upon the head. We could call them apples or oranges, bananas or peaches. But if they taste beautiful, does it matter what we call them? So
No.
when we use this analogy and we say that the power of the love that comes behind the prayer, the Reiki, the healing, that is more important than the title that you give to what you intend to do. So let us say that we had no words for anything that we did, and we just knew that there is a force with us or that would assist us to bring about an improvement in the circumstances of those that we seek to work with. All you would have would be what is in here. It would be the love that you have. It would be the vision of health and perfection that you see that person becoming. But there is also the sense of, let us use a part of the previous conversation and say, the body is in a state of decay from the moment it is born. And the healing power, while it can have an effect and miracles can happen, at some point the disease of the body is greater than the healing potential of the thought, no matter where it came from. And so at some point we have to also consider that there is the need for allowing a transition to be a peaceful and loving experience, so that that time in the future when we are reunited, that we know that the transition was done in the most loving fashion that it could be done with. Grief will never not sting you. But when we send people healing, and it is done with a true sense of altruistic love, then that is the true meaning of spirituality. Doing it knowing that it is not what you need, it is what the other person needs. And sometimes they need to be able to pass to our side in a state of love, in a state of peace, and that as mediums we seek to allow them to know that at one point in the future we shall all be reunited. So we can heal the physical body, but let us also not forget to address the fact that grief itself, death itself, that is the great fear. Those that pass may fear death, but they also fear the grief that will afflict those that they love. So I believe I may have slightly deviated from your original question, but I do believe that they are all connected, my friend.
Yes, thank you. May I ask then how best we can send healing or prayers to areas of conflict, the healing of all involved?
Yeah. So as we spoke about earlier, I would do it with a great sense of love for those involved, and that ask as the universe surrounds us all, that we put a loving, healing, and peaceful thought pattern into it, and ask that all involved may feel the presence of love with a greater power with every second of every day. Where love exists and where love grows, anger and that disharmony starts to very gradually be decreased, because love is the dominant force in the universe. But when people seek to bring about anger, it too has a force. So we need to be persistent in our prayers, our affirmations, and that we ask that all involved, whether known or unknown, may receive the presence of love. Even the most angry man in the world, or angry woman, when bathed in the love of true spiritual love, they will respond quietly and become meek like a kitten. But if we allow anger to envelop them, they will have the ferocity of a tiger. I hope this helps you in some way, my friend.
It does. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.
Thank you. Kevin, you had your hand up.
I wanted to ask, I'm hearing stories that if this threat of nuclear war was to get to the point of somebody hitting a button somewhere, that spirit side would get involved because it would be affecting other universes, other planets, and other places. Can you give me your thoughts on that?
My friend, as much as the picture that is painted seems to be one of almost like a divine intervention, I'm afraid that from our perspective, if you wish to destroy yourself, so it will be. That mankind has the power to create and destroy, and while we are here to guide you, we cannot force. There is not an external force that is able to intercede if you choose to make decisions that bring about your demise. This is why the great responsibility of finding a spiritual love within you and creating it in all that we say and do is paramount to all that inhabit the planet that you are on. What we do not seek is your extinction. But just as a divine benefactor could have said, well, aren't the dinosaurs beautiful? And so nature played its role, maybe a cruel trick, that asteroid had the Earth's name on it, and life was lost. There have been mass extinctions caused by natural forces, and an argument could be made that it should not have happened, but it is the way of nature. And the way of nature has also bring about this conflict with mankind, not seeing that what he really has is the opportunity to live a beautiful life. But you notice, my friends, how many people are inhabiting the world, and yet how many are truly in a position of influence and power? The list grows shorter, the power goes greater, and the conflict increases as those who have the power seek to keep it and control it, and if need be, use it. All they need, my friend, is justification in their own mind. One man or one woman could bring about the world's extinction in comparison to what you see now. Now let us say that there is not a thought that would come from the spirit world that would not be of a positive intent when it comes to those who will seek to be under the influence of us. But those in a position of power need to understand that with that power, as the saying goes, comes great responsibility.
Indeed.
Now, what we also need to consider is that the fear is much less than the love that exists in this world, my friend. So let us not always remind ourselves of what is wrong with this world, but let us put out deep love about what is good and what is right. Because let me tell you, the world is a beautiful place. That the world is a place where many more thousands of generations to come can inhabit in peace. But mankind needs to see this, that peace, harmony, and a spiritual kinship with each other is the way forward. It is our spiritual truth that we are loving. We came from a place of love. So let us not eradicate that love and replace it with fear. My friend, I hope I have too asked your question.
Thank you very much. We shall continue raising the vibration.
Yes, my friend. Very important.
Thank you, Kevin. Sheila, you want to ask a question?
Yes, thank you. Thank you for those words. They were wonderful. There is a lot of fear in this world. My question relates to healing. I'm a healer. I heal on a regular basis, and I get people coming on a regular basis for healing. And my question is, how long does healing actually last? Or is there no sort of time for it once it's given?
My friend, as long as the intention is there to both give and receive the healing, then the healing will continue. There will be times whereby the healing brings about a curing. There will be times where the healing brings about a comfort. But the healing power is contained within the thoughts that you send in the first place, when you connect to those who seek to work through you. You are making yourself this vessel and allowing that presence of that love to allow those that seek to do the healing from our side, the doctors, the nurses, the surgeons, the consultants, all of the people that you see in your own world. Think of us having them here. And so they seek to do that work. As you send a thought to us, my friend, do not think that it is not heard. Whether you perceive our presence, it does not really matter. So if I said to you now, as you look out of the window and you find that the sun has gone down, and I said to you, are there clouds in the sky, my friend? And you could say, I do not know. And yet if suddenly the sun was to rise, and you see that there are indeed clouds in the sky, you would not need me to prove it to you. But the point is that in the background, the work continues. Where you ask of our help, my friend, do not fear that we will not listen to you. It is in the nature of all things that we wish to bring about comfort, healing, and the cessation of suffering. Does that help you to understand, my friend?
Well, I think I already did understand. It's just sometimes you like to hear it, if you know what I mean.
Yes, my friend. So look, never be in doubt, my friend, that sometimes we can wish to heal someone. Sometimes we can wish to know that it is not just in our dreams that this may happen. But we have to know with that great love and sincerity of purpose that you seek to work, so shall it be felt by those who you send your thoughts to. My friend, love is that great power that exists within you while your heart is beating, and that you are able to manifest a thought. Know that it will be received.
Thank you. Thank you.
One more question, June.
Yes, I'm just looking to see if there are any. Oh, yes, there is. Liz is ready to ask a question. May you ask your question, please?
Hey, thank you. I just wanted to go back to what you were talking about at the beginning around fear of failure. It's very easy for us to get comfortable where we are, and I wondered if you had any advice for stepping out of the comfort zone, rather than staying safe where it is comfortable.
Well, there are a couple of parts to the answer that I wish to give, my friend. So let us first think about how you envisage the life that you wish to be living in a professional or a personal capacity. So the first thing that we need to ask is, am I already doing what brings me that sense of purpose in my life? And in that case, we would say that you are in a comfort zone, but you are in the zone that you are meant to be in. If we say, am I doing what brings me purpose? And you say, I am not yet, then you need to formulate in your mind what the vision is of what you would rather be doing as opposed to what you are currently doing. And then to start achieving it, then we maybe seek to find out what this uncomfortable zone is that you wish to be in. So if you are doing what is right for you, then we would say you are where you need to be. If you feel you are missing an aspect of your prospective journey, then you need to think about what you wish to achieve, what you have currently achieved, and where the difference lies. And therein you know what you need to do to achieve it. Does that answer your question in some way, my friend, or can we help you more?
Yes, it does answer my question. I think it just comes back to that fear of what if, and actually, if we stay in the comfort zone, it's just easier.
Well, we could also say, what if you don't do something? Well, you will never know the answer to the question. But what if you do something unnecessarily, just to push yourself because you feel that you are too comfortable? We could say that both propositions are wrong. Or we could say that both propositions are right. It really depends on the perspective and what you are seeking to achieve. Does that help you anymore, my friend?
Yeah, very much so. Thank you.
So really, it comes down to whether your dreams are in fruition or whether they are in a state of unfolding, or whether you have already realized them. So I think maybe I raise more questions to you than answers, but it is the nature of a conversation, my friend.
Very helpful. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, how time passes. But let us talk about the love that passes as we share this time together. Working with the boy gives us that opportunity to have a voice. But our voice is one of many. We do not sit upon a golden throne telling you what the truth is. We are merely humble servants of the Great Spirit, and we seek to share our perspective. And if you can call it wisdom, then so be it. But we are fallible. We make mistakes, my friend, and we implore you to use good reason and judgment to decide whether anything that we have said this evening resonates with you. My friends, thank you for obliging us with your presence. Thank you for the love that has been shared. And we do look forward at some point in the future for spending some time with you, for sharing our love, and hopefully in some way that we can meet one day and reminisce upon the great progress that you have made through your life. Thank you, my friends. Go in peace. Always feel love within your heart. Allow that love to extend to your words and your thoughts. And may all possible healing be with you and those that you love and care for. Thank you.
Thank you.
I feel like I've been drooling. What happened? Excuse me. Oof. Oh my goodness. Okay. Right, let's go for that spotlight. Oh, that's better. I don't need to see my face in greater detail. Woo!
Thanks for that.
Oh my goodness. God, I feel such love. Lovely. Any questions from anyone? Thank you. Thanks, Lydia. That's lovely. Such a healing energy is felt. And to be honest, I kind of, this is why, was it Teresa said earlier, do I feel really tired after this? Should we allow 2 or 3 days between, working with Spirit? And I say, I feel uplifted and I feel full of that kind of like happy vibes where I just feel a bit chilled out, like I've been smoking something I shouldn't. That's how I feel. I feel just like, this isn't bad. This is great. And you just do feel that sense of, why wouldn't I want this? You can understand that when you truly feel that love from Spirit and you kind of think, this is it, this is beautiful, then you understand why they would describe the earth as being a difficult place to be. Because up there, or up here, round here, down there, I don't know whereabouts they are, everywhere. It's so different. There's just this state of like overwhelming love that I feel. Wise words. Well, it's always a matter of opinion, Teresa. If you said to my wife, does Andy speak wise words? She might go like that.
But it wasn't you though, Andy, was
Well,
it?
this is it. This is how we know it's Spirit. Because if you really knew me, and you ask the opinion of most people that know me, they kind of go, I don't know about that. I don't know. I don't know about that. But joking aside, it is lovely. Anyone got any observations? It's interesting. Did anyone see anything that was noticeable? Yeah, Diane. I'm just curious because I'm nosy.
Yeah, it wasn't about seeing
Yeah.
anything as much as, do you watch it back? Because do you know all this
No.
wonderful knowledge that's being imparted and the questions and answers?
I record it, but then I just don't watch it back. Firstly, because it's not that I don't want to, but honestly, I just don't know whether I can be bothered to sit and watch myself for another hour. And I kind of go, "Oh, I just want to watch a bit of telly, or I want to just sit on the sofa and just go to sleep or something." I'm recording them, and I'm not saying I won't do something with them. And sometimes I do post them on YouTube, if I feel it's particularly relevant or people want to hear it. But um, part of me thinks it's not really for me because this was all about you and spirit. And so it isn't about me wondering what I think about it. I kind of just go, if you got something from it, and if this means something to you on some level, then that's good enough for me. Because I want spirit to speak to you. It's not about Andy. And that's really as much as I probably need to say. Does that make
Good
sense,
answer.
Diane?
Yeah, good answer. Thank you.
Yeah. It's weird, but it is not about me, strangely. Lydia, what were you going to say, Lydia? I don't know why I'm shouting. I don't need to shout to get to Holland. I've got a microphone right in front of me.
Yes. Well, I don't know what happened, but when I was looking, and I don't know if it's possible, but I just saw a thumb up rising when your guide was speaking. I saw just this little thumb up on the left side of my screen coming up. So I don't know if somebody can do that actually.
I think there is I think this has got like the Zoom now has got like an intelligent thing, whereas if I might wave my hands or something, it might. No, it's not going to bloody do it now, is it? Of course it isn't. I wonder if I do that. No, no, no. Right. Well, I thought it might do something. So
Just do one, because that's yeah.
No, I saw a thumb up and not your
Yeah.
thumb.
Absolutely.
yeah, no,
I
not my
also
thumb.
saw it. Yes. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
sometimes if I'm gesturing and I maybe the computer thinks it's seeing my thumbs go up, it will do the corresponding thumbs up using an emoji.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what
It's
it
Oh,
is. Yeah.
I have seen that. So as much as I'd love to think Spirit made it happen, I think the chances are the computer
Yeah.
thinks it's seen something it hasn't. And
okay, okay.
because sometimes I might gesture when I don't know, maybe I do gesture when I'm in trance. I think I might
You
do.
Okay.
you were at the time. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So I think it's more likely that. So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but thank you. Thank you for noticing. Teresa, what did you want to say?
I saw a blue light in the first minute of the trance, but just it was very quick. So just check it back.
Okay, that's interesting. I've got a recording of I did a Zoom of sitting for Fizz in my I've got a seance cabinet next to me here. I'm touching it. I did a Zoom sitting with Jan and got Jan to watch me on the laptop and she was as I was sitting, she was describing what she was seeing. She's very, very tuned in, very clairvoyant. Oh, Tanya, thanks so much. Thank you for joining us. Really appreciate it, Tanya. Thank you. And so as Jan was watching it, she said, "Oh, this guide is was starting to show himself." And just as she said that, there was this bright bluey white flash, and we caught it on video and recorded it. And then she went, "Oh," and I've just seen a blue flash or a white flash on the screen. So I went back and recorded it, and I managed to freeze frame it, and I got this imagine like a little star that was white, and it came up like in front of me. And so Jan was clairvoyantly seeing this spirit person starting to show themselves, and at the same time, energetically, this white flash of light went on the screen, and it wasn't like a zoom effect. It really was like someone had like a mini torch, and they went flash, and I was like,
I don't know what it was, Andy. It wasn't an orb or anything like that, but it was
yeah.
at the bottom of the screen in the first minute, and it went from on my screen, left to right.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
and
Blue.
I saw that as well. It's like
Right.
a kind of circular blob went across the
Okay.
screen like that.
Interesting. And Liz, at the trance demo I did on Saturday night, Liz saw a light or some sort of flash or something you said as I was blending then, didn't you? Yeah.
Yeah, did. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's interesting. So spirit manifests themselves as energy, and that the consciousness doesn't need a physical presence, but energetically they're in this room, and I do all of my spirit work here. So it does make sense maybe that they would start to manifest in the way of light in some way, because that has happened quite a lot actually, if I think about it, for people that have said, oh, I saw this flash of light, especially when I'm blending. Especially when that's happening, it seems to be more likely that you'll see it. And in the cabinet, and when Liz saw it on Saturday, and when you saw it, all 3 times, that was when I was blending. So it's like spirit are starting to show themselves, and then that blending process happens. And then I feel that transition. So that's really good. Thank you for saying that, because of course I don't get to know. And I'm not likely to watch the recording back, so I won't even see it on the recording. But now I might go and look at it now you've said it.
Well, it was in the first minutes. You don't need to
Right.
watch much.
That's good.
After you blended and when you started talking in
Yeah.
that little section there.
Okay, interesting. Very interesting. Anyone else got any comments or thoughts, or you're just looking to go really because I've been talking long enough? Yeah, you're too polite to say, yeah, you've been talking long enough. But in my mind, I've still got 11 minutes. But no, joking aside, no, if you're all done and dusted and you've got nothing else that you want to mention, then I'm happy for it. But yes, sorry, Kevin.
If I could, this is perhaps a bit random for you.
That's right.
Steve Newton talks about when you're going into trance to bring the love in, and I have problem with bringing any thoughts of a human in, but I have like my dog that I really, really love. Would that help me more in the blending situation?
I would say think of the love that you feel within you when you think about your dog. Now, I would do it. I've got 2 dogs in spirit and 4 dogs here. And so when I think of them, let me tell you, it's not difficult to feel love. All right.
Yeah.
And so when I think about that feeling, and if I close my eyes, and if I then say to my guides, I want you to connect with that kind of love that I feel when I think of Oscar and Poppy. And I want to feel that transition. And so when I'm sitting there and it's just Andy, I just feel bog standard. I don't feel anything in particular. But if I spend that time blending, and it only has to be a few minutes maybe, and if I feel that and I say, guys, I really want to know that who I'm working with, because I might not know a name. So who I'm working with, I really need to know that I'm safe and that I feel your love. Because if the guide is truly a guide and they truly are loving, they will be able to let you feel their love. Absolutely, they will. All right. And if you don't feel it from them, either demand even more energy from them and more presence, and don't go searching for the experience. I would just say, guys, sit there, close your eyes. Imagine that your heart is opening wide, like it's going to fill your whole chest. And just say, guys, I'm here for you. If it's unconditional love, thumbs up. If it's not, thumbs down. And just allow that process to happen for as long as it needs for you. Give yourself no more than about 10 minutes, because your mind will get into it and you'll start thinking about it and you'll start searching for an experience, and you don't need to.
Yeah.
And feel free to reach out. Like, I'm sure Steve has helped you and he'll answer questions. He's a great source of information. Yeah. But if you want to reach out, Kevin, feel free,
Thank you very much.
No worries.
Appreciate it.
Can I just say,
what's that, love?
Please, Andrew, you've done really well today. Do you realise you've answered 9 questions in a relatively small space of time?
Yeah,
and
cool.
To my mind, and I hope to everyone else's, everyone felt satisfied with what the answers that were given. And they weren't always straightforward. They were sometimes in several parts. So you know, it's been a really, really interesting evening. Thank you so much for
Look,
your
you're
time.
welcome.
And
Look,
thank you everyone for all the questions that you've asked.
yeah, absolutely. So
You know,
guys,
that's
this
marvellous.
June, thank you. Firstly, thank you to June. Last week I had Val helping me. This week I've got June, and maybe next time it'll be Val. So there'll be a chance for other people to sort of just help in a way. And the point is, this is about this. It feels quite selfish in a way, but this is about my development. All right. So most of the time I'm teaching other people and I'm doing things for other people's development, but I don't want to lose sight of the fact that I love this too. And I want the best connection possible. And that's not going to happen by chance. All right. So as much as I might know, there's still always an eternal quest to be the very best that I can be. That's not me on an ego trip. That's me just trying to give you the best of me. All right. So this is why we meet every 2 weeks, 7 o'clock tonight, and then again in 2 weeks. That's for trance. All right. Next week, 7 o'clock, if you like to practice your mediumship, then I run a free circle where it's just about you guys practicing. There's no pressure. We work in Zoom rooms. Sometimes we work together. And it's just like, Tom, you work with that person. Val, you work with that person. Have a go, connect to spirit, bring through a message. Did it go great? Yes, no, sometimes no, or indifferent. All right. And it's just an opportunity to practice. It's free. I just want to give people a space to learn. All right. Without judgment, because we don't need that, do we? We just need people to pat us on the back, not punch us in the face. So that's what it's about. But thank you so much for supporting me and, of course, my spirit friends. I do love it intensely. Not that I ever get really enthusiastic about it, but there you go. So you chose to join, and this is me expressing my weirdness.
Lovely. Good.
Thank you, Lynn. Thank you to everyone that joined. I really appreciate it. It's I'm going to have some chocolate cake and ice cream. What about that? It's like a mantra that I have. Do trance, eat cake. Thanks, Val. I'm not even lying. I literally have got sticky chocolate cake in the fridge. And 2 different types of ice cream because I couldn't decide whether it was going to be vanilla and caramel or chocolate, triple chocolate. So I got both. This is it. Right, guys, have a wonderful rest of the evening. Thank you for joining me. It's been a real pleasure.
Thanks, Andy.
Okay.
Cheers.
Okay. And I think I might post this one online, actually, because it felt really good.
Yeah.
Right. See you later then.
Cheers. Bye.
Bye.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.